Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you most likely know that Hogwarts Legacy is set to be one of the biggest releases of 2023. The open world game is looking great, but as we say here on the channel, systems are everything. Hey there friends, it's Kodiak here. Welcome to Legacy Gaming. Today, we're doing something a bit different, getting creative and sharing 5 features we'd love to see within Hogwarts Legacy. Before we get going, let me be clear. We don't think any of these systems or features will make it into the game. Scope creep is a real thing, and not every idea makes it into the final product. These ideas are more pipe dreams than anything else, things that we think could enhance the game, make it more enjoyable, and ultimately more immersive. If a great idea pops into your head while watching, feel free to let us know in the comments. To kick off our video, let's talk about something that we believe should be in pretty much every modern game: a robust camera system. Open world games are the perfect opportunity for the developers to give players the tools to capture the world around them. Not only does this give creative players something to do within the world, but it's also an incredible way for fans to engage in such an iconic setting, one I have no doubt the developers have poured thousands of hours into building. Of course, there are varying degrees of complexity with in-game camera systems, and with the probability of a good number of secrets within the world, the team would have to make some restrictions to avoid players using the camera in any game-breaking way. In recent memory, the Ubisoft team did a great job with the in-game camera tool for Far Cry 6. They gave the player a lot of flexibility to manipulate things like lighting, poses, and even important camera properties like aperture and focal length. All these things make for an immersive system, and with the wizarding world just waiting to be explored, it's a no-brainer. If I'm putting on my content creator hat for a second, you could also take it one step further, allowing players to set keyframes for motion within the tool. This is something we've taken advantage of using third-party software in certain games, and it just gives you such an incredible way to create cinematic moments. Now, for the casual gamer, this might not mean much, but it would allow us to showcase Hogwarts Legacy and the world in the best possible way, which, if you think about it, is a huge win for the developers. At the end of the day, a camera system should be flexible with a low bar to entry. The nuts and bolts have to be there, giving players the freedom to take easy pictures without too much complexity, but the ceiling for how much you could push the system is near endless. Again, it's something we feel should be in every modern game to some degree, and although we haven't seen it yet, I've got a sneaking suspicion it might be a feature within Hogwarts Legacy. Cho Chang and Harry, Lupin and Tonks, Hermione and Victor Krum. The list goes on and on. Relationships were a central theme within the Harry Potter books, so it makes complete sense that they could also be a system within Hogwarts Legacy. Let's be honest, we've all seen comments, regardless of the game, where someone wants a relationship with another character within the game. It's just one of those things. That being said, it actually kinda makes sense here. We're a 5th-year student surrounded by lots of other wizards and witches, and there's a real way to add value to the game implementing something like relationships. From a gameplay perspective, relationships add a new way for the developers to introduce quests, and not just one-and-done deals either. They could utilize relationships as multi-point quest chains that really give the team some narrative freedom to do something interesting and off the cuff. If you treat relationships as a sort of reputation system, you could also tie various rewards to various relationships. Woo a specific Ravenclaw, pass a certain threshold, and they reward you with something specific to that house. Obviously, not everything needs to be progression-based either. The devs could really have some fun with this system, creating special cosmetics or toys just to add a layer of intrigue and interest to the game. I think the real selling point, though, at least for me, would be the ability to eventually unlock these characters as companions within the game. They wouldn't be your standard companions either. Each would have a special attribute or action that makes them just a bit more interesting than the standard companions within Hogwarts Legacy. It would give you a reason to work to win them over, and you'd feel rewarded for those efforts. Of course, in the spirit of flexibility, I'd also think this system would have to be completely fluid. You could court multiple people at once, building your reputation. That way, you're not locked into making any decisions that are permanent. Eventually, you'd have to make an empirical choice, like which character you want to quote-unquote date, giving you access to their perks or something like that, but outside of that, creating a system that's widely accessible would be the key. If there's one idea on this list that's a bit out there, it's this next concept. Now, I can't take credit here, this is all Livid, but I'll admit it's an incredible system, one that could add a whole new dimension to Hogwarts Legacy. You'll know, if you checked out our recent Magical Creatures video released on the channel, that Dementors are the only creature with a 6 classification within the wizarding world. Their ability to drain the soul of their victims is terrifying, so naturally, we wanted to put that to use within the context of the game. The idea is rather simple on paper. The more bad things you do within the world, the more the Ministry of Magic takes notice. Attack a fellow witch or wizard, your notoriety goes up. Use an unforgivable curse, same thing. Bring an acromantula back to your dormitory, well, yeah, you get the point. The more bad deeds you commit in the world, the higher your notoriety goes, and at a certain point, the Ministry sends Dementors to put you in your place. This would add such an exciting dimension to the game. All of a sudden, your actions have consequences, and you have to confront those head on. If a Dementor catches you, who knows, maybe you spend some time in Azkaban or lose some money, standard stuff. That's not really the point. The point is the hunt. After hitting that threshold, all bets are off, and unless you're in your dormitory, the threat of a Dementor tracking you down and capturing you is real. This would also tie into the Patronus system, something we haven't seen talked about within the scope of the game. It's hard to say exactly how this would work, but I think it has to be something that either is challenging to execute or something on a long cooldown, almost like a panic button, something that keeps you safe, if only for a limited time. Not only that, but having a system that utilizes your Patronus could turn into a whole other immersive system, where players can unlock and change the cosmetic of their Patronus, something that's tied to a character's identity within the books. The idea would need to be fleshed out a ton more, but if you stop and think about it from a macro perspective, there's a lot this system would do to enhance the game. Just think about how successful this same idea has worked in Grand Theft Auto, and you could see why it could work in Hogwarts Legacy. When it comes to the wizarding world, there's no place quite as iconic as Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. But if there was a second place just as iconic, I'd say it'd have to be Diagon Alley. Each side of the street is packed with incredible shops such as Ollivander's, where witches and wizards go to buy their first wand. Also, you've got Gringotts, the famous goblin-run bank that becomes a big part of the story throughout the books and movies. Diagon Alley is just remarkable, and it's the perfect location to tap into within Hogwarts Legacy. To be honest, there's a good chance it's actually in the game to some degree. The developers have released a screenshot from inside a wand store, and we can't forget about this shot from one of the trailers hurtling down the track in what appears to be a goblin minecart, much like the ones from underneath Gringotts. My only hangup is how to make Diagon Alley stand apart from Hogsmeade, which has already been confirmed as a place we'll go to buy necessary items our character might need throughout their adventure. Having a second location that fits pretty much the same need, well, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Where I think the developers could have some fun is with Nocturne Alley, an offshoot of the main stretch of shops devoted to stores like Borgin and Burke's that specialize in dark magic. We know that dark magic is prevalent within the game. I mean, for crying out loud, we can learn and use Avada Kedavra, so having a place where we could potentially enhance our dark magic skills, well, that could be a fun way to work Diagon Alley into the game. Gringotts also makes a lot of sense as a quest location. If you know the books and movies, you already know what lurks below the vaults, and you could easily turn that into a fun quest chain or two. That's what's so awesome about the wizarding world. There's enough established lore that you kind of know what to expect, but still so much freedom that you can push the boundaries of expectation. Regardless, it's hard to imagine a place as iconic as Diagon Alley not popping up in the game. It'd be a big miss, but like I said before, I've got a gut feeling we'll see Diagon Alley pop up at least once during our adventures. Last up on our list today is something we've seen folks talk about since the very first reveal trailer, and that's multiplayer, or at least co-op. Look, we all know that Hogwarts Legacy is a single-player game, so I'm under no illusion that this will actually happen. But man, the team could have really cemented their legacy, pun intended, if they managed to make the game playable with a friend or two. Even adding something like a social hub would have been huge. I have no problem with single-player games. In fact, I have a profound respect for them, especially in today's world of live service models, microtransactions, and battle passes. When you strip all of that away, you get at the heart of what makes a game great, the actual gameplay. Hogwarts Legacy isn't going to be any less of a game because it doesn't have multiplayer, it's just missing a huge opportunity. Think of all the couples out there that grew up loving the Harry Potter books and movies together. The team could have capitalized on that by having some sort of co-op experience. You could probably even keep it offline and still find a lot of success. I think there were opportunities for limited multiplayer as well. turning the common rooms into social hubs where you could see other witches and wizards running around the world, showing off cosmetics, and maybe even interacting in things like wizard chess, which we also know isn't in the game. Of course, thinking about gameplay for a second, you could also take those wizard arenas recently showcased and turn those into multiplayer moments, either with PvP action or gauntlet-style PvE challenges. Again, let me remind you all, as I did at the start, that scope creep is a real thing, and while these ideas might sound cool, there is only so much the developers could do. What I'm really hoping happens is that modders are given the access and freedom to create some incredible augmentations for the game. I have no idea if the team is going to commit to something like that, but just think about all of the evolutions of Skyrim over the years. The incredible things the community has been able to create has extended the life of that single-player game for over a decade, and I see no reason why we can't have that same situation with Hogwarts Legacy 2. I know I'm in La La Land at this point, but it just goes to show how much potential Hogwarts Legacy and the wizarding world really has. So there you have it, 5 ideas, 5 features we'd love to see in Hogwarts Legacy. Will they come to fruition? Probably not, but they certainly would add something to the game. As I said before, I want to know what you think. Share your best idea in the comment section of this video, and who knows, maybe the developers will see it and add it to their future plans. We'll be checking out Hogwarts Legacy on February 10th, and if you're interested in following along in our adventures, we'd love to have you along for the ride. Drop a like below and consider subscribing so you never miss a new video. Although Hogwarts Legacy is a single-player game, we still want to invite you to join our Legacy gaming community on Discord. We recently revamped the entire server with a special section just for Hogwarts Legacy, so check out the link below and join today. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.